First hole, classic Nicklaus. Based a little bit on what he likes in a course, which is wide fairways and tough second shots. Really, Muirfield Village is a second shot course. The pros will tell you that. And so what you have with number one is slight dogleg right, elevated tee, wide fairway, sloping right to left, bunkers, the driving area. It's a challenging first hole, as Augusta National is. So once again, Jack wanted to go that route. This is, a tough hole on a course that has, more than 60 bunkers and, 11 holes that have water on them. So this is how it all gets started. Good luck, players. This is a second hole. It's a par 4, 455 yards, following number one, which was a par 4, 470. So it's a little shorter. It's a little bit of a dog leg left, not too much. Creek flanks the entire right side of the hole from 100 yards out and goes right along the rear of the green. You want to be on the right side. You want to flirt with that creek a little bit because the left side has some trees that stick too far out. I've been in those trees before, let me tell you. It's one of the tougher par 4s. It's tied for the second hardest hole on the course. So the players get no easy beginning here. You don't warm up at Muirfield Village. You have to jump right into the deep end. Number 3 at Muirfield Village, one of my favorite holes because it's just unique looking. It's not that long. It's only 401 yards, par 4. You have to drive down. Not everybody will hit driver here, and then you have a sharp dog leg left over a creek onto a very bunkered green. The right side is challenging too because of the lies you'll have. Two-tiered green cutting the hillside. Water awaits, again, a weak approach. Sand everywhere. It's one of the most spectacular and scenic holes, and tougher than it looks, even though it's not too long. First par 3 at Muirfield, 200-yarder. It slopes gently downhill to a long, narrow, heavily bunkered green cut into the hillside. The depression area left of the green is a mess. If you get in there, you're in trouble. Rolling hillsides framing the entire right side of the hole offer great viewing for spectators. It's not the easiest hole either. It's tied with number 2 as the second hardest on the course. Hole number 5 at Muirfield Village, or as I like to call it, the Game of Thrones hole, because after a elevated tee shot, you go to a bisected fairway with a creek down the middle, and then you get to the green where there is a moat. Who knows what dragon is awaiting there for you once you arrive. Although just because a hole is beautiful and looks difficult does not necessarily make it so. Number 5 is the second easiest hole on the course. So the beauty is not necessarily always a beast. This is hole 6. And it's a par 4, 447 yards. If you pay close attention and you're standing around the tee when the players are here, you might hear some bluebirds. It's just some of the nature that is here at Muirfield Village. I think there must be a nest or two right in the area. Of course, for some of the players, it can be blue tour players because while not the hardest hole at 6, it can be a little challenging, any hole where there's water. So this one is really tough second shot, or can be a long iron, even a metal wood, especially against the wind. The prevailing winds come right at you. And so number 6 can be a challenge, and you never know what kind of wildlife you're gonna see or what's gonna eat these guys for lunch. This is a par 5. In 2018, it was the easiest hole on the course. Since the inception of this tournament in '76, I think it ranked 16th. So, Jack Nicklaus's par 5s are not the most difficult in the world. He likes the risk reward. You should be able to get a birdie if you play it well, and that's the case here. Stay left on that second shot to make it easier. Hole number 7, also known as the hole where Urban Meyer has his palatial estate off the left side of the fairway. For golfers who might be football fans, you never know. I think I have seen the tour guys kind of walk by and take a gander at Urban's house. And I love this hole. Hole 8, 185-yard par 3, and beach anyone. This is a short par 3, relatively speaking, for tour players, surrounded by bunkers all around the green. And the hole is not as long as it looks because there's a valley between the tee and greens, adds sort of an optical illusion that creates difficulty with club selection. Number 10 is one of the more difficult par 4s on the course. You'll see tour guys kind of frown when they get to the tee here because it's one of only 2 uphill drives at Muirfield Village. When the wind is howling, which it is a lot of the times, especially in late May, early June, it's a really tough hole. That second shot is a challenge. Rugged, I would say. And a lot of guys walk off there with the grim faces because this is not an easy hole, even though you can drive it pretty well here, but just a challenge, as most holes are at Muirfield Village, honestly. Number 11 is one of 2 or 3 signature holes on the course at Muirfield. This is a par 5, looks fairly routine from the tee, and it narrows as you go, which is sort of a Nicklaus trademark. It's like a bottle. It starts out, you think you got it pretty easy, wide fairway, and then that second, third shot, as it were here, really narrows. You've got the creek to contend with, not just once, but twice. You go through this great valley, and then you get on the green, and with the stimp meter and the speed of these greens, it can get very tricky here at 11. Off the tee, the players don't see the beautiful floral design of the logo. All they see is disaster awaiting. Number 12, probably the signature hole on the course, par 3, modeled a little bit, whether intentionally or not, off of number 12 at Augusta National in Amen Corner. It's a monster. You can get double digits on this par 3, and tour players have done it. The late Payne Stewart did. If you go long, you're in the bunker. Short, you're bunker. Really tricky hole. Famous. Number 13, 2 words most golfers despise: narrow shoot. That's what this is off the tee. Tough tee shot, comparatively speaking, for Jack's type of design. You go a little left, and then you go down kind of downhill, downhill, downhill into a bowl for where the green is. And it's a pretty standard par 4, nothing too tricky. But by then, you know, the tournament may be on the line and guys are going to be feeling a little bit. Maybe they tighten up, and 13 isn't as easy as maybe it looks. This is number 14, and the theme here is to go for it or not. Most guys will lay up. It's one of the signature holes because for many players it is a hybrid or iron off the tee. Relatively short par 4, but very narrow with a creek cutting through. John Daly famously tried to go for it one year. Dustin Johnson probably could too, but the risk reward is too high on risk. Famous hole, fun hole, one of the players' favorites. And 15 is the calm before the storm. Before 16 and 17 and 18 down the stretch, it cuts right through the original forest. Par 5. For the amateur, it looks a lot tougher than it is. The tour guys get up there, bang it, and then they can get home in 2 for a birdie. Easiest hole on the course. Not a whole lot to worry about, although if you do spray it off the tee, you can get a big number. So a lot of birdies, but a couple big numbers too. Number 17, famous for long drives. Dustin Johnson hit it a country mile, literally almost. I think it was 370, almost 400 yards, something ridiculous. And also famous for the playoff in the very first Memorial, 1976, Roger Maltby looked like he was out of it with his shot toward the green. He was going to overshoot the green, but hit a stake, and the ball bounced back onto the green. He parred it, tied Hale Irwin, and went to sudden death at 18, and Roger Maltby won the very first Memorial. 18, a famous finishing hole at Muirfield Village. You have to bend it a little bit around the corner. You face a little bit of an uphill green, and famous for Paul Azinger's chip in to beat Payne Stewart from the sand. They've brought the fairway in on the left a little bit this year, and this is where it all happens. This is where you get the handshake from Jack Nicklaus after winning the Memorial Tournament.